Okay, today in Steve's Basement of Speed, we're going to be putting some new plates on our oil cover. This one I have not done yet, but I've got it CAD plated. The holes in here will match the little bitty rivets that you have to use. I hope you can see that. Those rivets there are .073. I got those from Doug Seibert. And he had a bunch of them, so he sent me enough to give to a few people, which I've done, and also redo 3 engines that I had plans to do. You can see this one, I've gone ahead and you drive them in. I bought a new plate online here, and basically I had to put it on a bag of shot, like shotgun shot. It comes in a cloth bag, and I put it on there and I use this to press it down and get the curve shape. In fact, I actually hammered on it a little bit to get the shape that it needed because it is curved. You can see the old plate here was in quite bad shape. I got a filter here from Albers, or a seal, and this one is quite thick compared to some of the other vendors that sell them, so I prefer these. That's an RE15879R. I also get the little pin from them here, cotter pin. You'll see that tiny cotter pin. We'll use that later, but it's a UA10002Z. And anyway, we'll go ahead and assemble this. I already put this one in, and it is on the correct side. You'll see as we go, you want the thing to flop away from you as you're on the left side of the engine. This will go on to the head. So anyway, I did put that in. You can see there's a pin in here. And after I drive the pin in, I actually take a hole punch and wedge it a little bit. Now the pins, as you take them out, they have a little knurl on the end of them on one end, and the other end is relatively smooth. So they'll only go in one way, and you drive it until this sticks up in there. And this spring will go on the other side. But let's get to it here. Now you'll see on this old one, if you try to put the rivet in it here, it is much too small to go in, and you do not want to drive them that way. On the new plate here, I drilled the holes just a tad bigger than the .073 of the rivet so that it would slide through without catching the aluminum on the plate. Okay, now after you can see I've set these pins in here, and I'm going to take a hammer and I'm going to tap them in. They are a little bit sideways. You can see how they're lined up there. They don't run. They run with the curve of the top. Okay, I've went around here, and now I'm going to do the last one, and you'll notice I'm using a flat end hammer. It does not have a nailing surface on it with the ridges, and I'm very careful to hit straight down and not catch the top. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so here we go. We've got our top riveted on, and now the first thing that goes in is the spring. Goes in like that, and then the spring retainer goes in like that. This spring retainer has a lip on it. Of course, the lip goes down, and that retains the spring. You've got one of these washers, and it has a indent on the inside there. Put that on there, and then the next thing is this one. Of course, I said I got it from Albers. It's nice and stiff. It's got a curve to it. I'm going to put the curve up, and then this little notch that's machined on the inside here will fit, so it captures that. And then there's a washer, small washer. And then there's a small nut, and we'll insert the cotter pin here in a second after we get her tightened down. Now you want to make sure you get the bottom washer inside the retaining plate. And there we go. I'll tighten that down, and we should have a good tight fit when we get done. Okay, I've tightened down the nut, and I've done it so I can see that the retaining hole here, and I will slip my cotter pin in there, this tiny little cotter pin, and we'll bend that back on both sides. And I'm going to wrap that around there. I don't really see any need to trim that one. I trim all the ones under the car so I don't hang myself on them and cause a bad bleed, but on this one nobody's going to ever be getting hung on that one, so there you go. Okay, I already mentioned that there's a spring, and it goes inside here, and you'll see that there's a notch that holds it, and the other end comes down here. So the spring goes in like that on this, so you have your release on your cap is spring loaded. Now the other side, which is where we're going to put the cap on, is not spring loaded. And as I noted before, this end has a flare on it. This end is smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and put that pin in there. I think I am. Maybe have to tap it a little bit. Get it started. There we go. I think there was a little paint in that hole, and we get it through there, and I'm going to tap it on home, and you'll see this end, the flare end catches when you get it in deep enough. Okay, so we got both of those in. Now when you shut this, it should be very tight, like that, okay? With that new gasket on there. And I am going to go ahead and leave that shut so it takes a form. So there we go. The new labels on there, got all of our rivets in, and we're ready to put that back on the car. I might note that this is off of Cloud 3, and it has a return from here up to the manifold. Carburetor, actually, the choke section of the carburetor, but on a Cloud 2 this is not here, so just for a note of interest.